In the grand halls of British royal history, few relationships have sparked as much curiosity, controversy, and intrigue as that between Queen Victoria and Abdul Karim, the Indian attendant whose presence at the royal court would change the final years of the monarch's reign. For decades, their story was shrouded in mystery, veiled by the deliberate destruction of correspondence and the silence of official records. But recent discoveries, especially the release of Abdul Karim's personal diary and the research that followed, have helped to peel back the layers of myth, rumor, and speculation. Today, we set out to explore the truth behind one of the most remarkable and misunderstood relationships in British royal history. Was Queen Victoria's bond with Abdul Karim a story of lifelong romantic love, or was it something altogether different? To understand the depth and meaning of this relationship, one must first picture the world into which Abdul Karim arrived. It was 1887, the year of Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee, marking 50 years of her reign. The British Empire was at its zenith, stretching across continents, with India often described as its jewel in the crown. Yet, for all her power, Victoria was a monarch marked by profound loneliness. The death of her beloved husband, Prince Albert, in 1861, had plunged her into decades of mourning. She wore black for the rest of her life, withdrew from public engagements, and relied heavily on close confidants for emotional solace. Abdul Karim, the son of a hospital assistant from Agra, India, was 24 years old when he was selected to travel to England. His initial purpose was simple: to serve as a munshi, or teacher, instructing the Queen in Hindustani and providing a living link to her Indian subjects. But almost from the moment he arrived, something about Karim captivated Victoria. Unlike the courtiers and politicians who surrounded her, Abdul Karim was unburdened by the formalities of the British aristocracy. He was respectful, yet warm and direct, qualities that the Queen, weary of protocol and pretense, found refreshing. Their relationship deepened quickly. Victoria recorded her impressions in her diaries, marveling at Abdul's intelligence, his gentle manner, and his willingness to share stories from his homeland. He not only taught her language, but also introduced her to Indian customs, cuisine, and culture. The Queen, in turn, showered him with gifts, honors, and titles, most notably bestowing upon him the role of her munshi and confidant. She commissioned portraits of Karim and made arrangements for his family to travel to England. The Queen's affection for Abdul was so marked that it drew the suspicion and, eventually, the ire of her household and family. The reaction within the royal court was nothing short of explosive. Many of Victoria's children and trusted advisors viewed Abdul Karim's rapid rise with distrust. They were unsettled by the sight of an Indian servant given privileges above their own, and rumors began to swirl. Was the Queen infatuated? Was their relationship improper? The tension grew so acute that members of the royal family, including her heir, the future King Edward VII, demanded that Abdul be dismissed. Yet Victoria remained steadfast. She insisted that Abdul be treated with respect and refused to bow to pressure, even as she grew older and frailer. But what was the true nature of their relationship? This question has lingered for more than a century. Some, seduced by the romantic allure of secret love, have imagined an affair hidden behind palace doors. Others suggest that, in Abdul, Victoria found a surrogate for the many relationships she had lost: her husband, her Scottish attendant John Brown, and even the children who so often seemed more interested in power than in their mother's happiness. Recent scholarship, however, has provided significant clarity. The 2017 film Victoria and Abdul, based on Shrabani Basu's groundbreaking book, brought this story to a global audience, shining a light not only on the relationship itself, but on the efforts to erase it from history. In the years following Victoria's death in 1901, King Edward VII ordered all letters, diaries, and mementos relating to Abdul Karim to be destroyed. The Munshi was stripped of his titles and exiled back to India, his presence in the royal household all but expunged. For decades, little more than whispers remained. But in recent years, Abdul Karim's descendants have come forward, sharing his personal diary and accounts passed down through generations. These sources, alongside Victoria's own journals, paint a portrait not of scandal or romance, but of a relationship more akin to that of mother and son. The Queen, isolated by her rank and the constraints of her world, found in Abdul Karim an honest companion, a confidant who treated her as a person, not merely as a monarch. She wrote of him in affectionate terms, expressing gratitude for his kindness and wisdom. The diary of Abdul Karim, made public by his family, provides powerful evidence for this interpretation. It recounts long conversations, lessons in Urdu, and evenings spent discussing Indian politics and culture. The Munshi describes the Queen's curiosity and her empathy for the Indian people, as well as her deep loneliness and longing for genuine human connection. Nowhere in these pages is there any suggestion of romantic or physical love. Rather, the tone is one of devotion, respect, and above all, emotional intimacy. At the heart of the matter lies the question of what it meant for Queen Victoria to love. In her lifetime, she used the word love liberally in her correspondence, often describing her feelings for family, friends, and trusted servants. For Victoria, love did not always carry the connotations of romance or passion. It was, just as often, a declaration of loyalty, gratitude, or fondness. In Abdul Karim, she found someone who brought joy and comfort to her declining years, a role that was both profound and, in many ways, quite innocent. Yet the world around them was not prepared for such a relationship. The British establishment of the late 19th century was deeply hierarchical and rigidly racist. The idea that an Indian Muslim could hold a place of honor at the heart of the British Empire was, to many, intolerable. Abdul Karim suffered countless slights at the hands of courtiers and officials. He was mocked, excluded, and even spied upon. The Queen's insistence on his company became a point of contention that reverberated through the palace, fueling resentment and, ultimately, leading to his erasure from the official record. What remains most striking, in light of the most recent evidence, is not a story of forbidden love, but one of resilience, empathy, and the human need for connection. Queen Victoria's relationship with Abdul Karim was, above all, an act of defiance, against loneliness, against prejudice, and against the expectations placed upon her by virtue of her birth. In a world where every action was scrutinized and every word weighed, she chose to open her heart to someone the world deemed unworthy. This act of choosing, of seeing beyond race, class, and custom, was itself extraordinary. It reflected not only Victoria's personal courage, but also her lifelong fascination with India. She was the first British monarch to take a genuine interest in Indian culture, learning to write in Urdu, adopting Indian food and dress, and advocating, within the limits of her power, for greater understanding between Britain and its colonies. Abdul Karim was both a cause and a symbol of this interest, providing the Queen with an intimate window into a world she would never see firsthand. The story does not end with Victoria's death. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Abdul Karim was given only hours to pack his belongings and was sent back to India, his possessions seized and his correspondence destroyed. He died in obscurity, his health broken, and his reputation tarnished by rumors that persisted long after his passing. Yet, history has a way of reclaiming what is lost. The rediscovery of Abdul Karim's diary and the scholarship of recent years have restored his voice to the narrative. They remind us that, beneath the grandeur and ceremony of monarchy, there exists a simple yearning to be seen, to be understood, to be loved. This is the true legacy of Queen Victoria and Abdul Karim. Their relationship, whatever its precise nature, stands as a testament to the power of human connection in the face of adversity. It is a reminder that history is not only shaped by battles and treaties, but by the quiet courage of those who dare to form bonds across the boundaries of race, class, and tradition. The Queen's own words, recorded in her journals, capture this spirit. She described Abdul Karim as a kind, good, and loyal soul, a real comfort to me. She lamented the prejudice he faced, writing, "No one knows. All they see is that he is an Indian and a servant." In these lines, we glimpse not a romance, but a profound friendship, one forged in adversity and sustained by mutual respect. As for the notion of lifelong romantic love, the evidence simply does not support it. While Victoria was undoubtedly fond of Abdul Karim and deeply valued his companionship, both her diaries and Karim's own writings point to a bond rooted in affection, gratitude, and shared experience, rather than physical or romantic attraction. It was, in the truest sense, a relationship of the heart, but not of the flesh. Today, as we look back on this extraordinary chapter of royal history, we are left with a story that is, in many ways, more moving than any tale of secret love. The story of two outsiders, an aging monarch and a young Indian clerk, who found in each other the comfort and understanding that had eluded them elsewhere. Their friendship, though maligned and nearly erased, endures as a beacon of hope and humanity. In the end, the question of whether Queen Victoria's relationship with Abdul Karim was a love story is, perhaps, less important than the lessons it offers. It invites us to reconsider the boundaries we draw between ourselves and others, to challenge the prejudices that divide us, and to recognize the quiet acts of kindness and courage that shape the course of history. The Queen and the Munshi, not lovers but companions. Not a scandal, but a solace. A reminder, above all, that even in the most gilded of cages, the human heart will seek out connection, and sometimes find it in the most unexpected of places.